So today we are going to talk about finding a common denominator when we are moving toward our fraction unit, which is coming up shortly. We are going to be working on adding fractions with unlike denominators. And so you all are going to have to be able to find, turn it down a little bit, please, a common denominator in order to add the fractions together. So today's practice is just going to be adding or finding a common denominator. We're not actually adding the fractions yet. Okay, so if I had 1/3 and 1/5, how could I find a common denominator? Well, the denominators, 3 and 5, if I were to multiply my denominators by the opposite number, then I would get a common denominator, meaning they would both be the same. But anything that I do to the bottom, I also have to do to the numerator. I have to just do to the top. So if I were to say, well, I know that if I multiply, if I were to say that 3 times 5 would give me 15, then 5 times 3 would also give me 15. So if I were to multiply this times the denominator of the opposite fraction, not only do I multiply the denominator, but I also have to multiply the numerator. So if I were to, I have to multiply 1 times 3 and 5 times 3, which would give me 1 times 3 is 3, 5 times 3 is 15. Then with this one, I'm multiplying it by the opposite denominator. So if I multiplied this fraction by 3, because that's the denominator here, then the denominator I'm multiplying this one by is the 5. So then I'm multiplying, I'll make you some in just a minute, okay? 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 3 is 15. Are my denominators the same? Yes. So now I could add these together straight across. Yes. Can't watch YouTube right now. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. All right, let's try another one. What if I had 1/2 and 2/3? I cannot add these together without finding a common denominator. So I'm going to take this fraction and multiply it by the denominator of the opposite fraction. So then that would mean 3 times 1, 3 times 2. That would mean over here, I'm going to multiply it by this denominator. So then 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 2 is 6. Do my denominators match? Yes, I have the common denominator between the two. So now I could add them together. All right, I'm going to give you one. I want you to try. Henry, turn it down a little bit, please. Let's do 1/4 and 1/3. So what's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to look at the denominator of the opposite fraction. Okay, now what? So then you're going to multiply the fraction by the opposite denominator. Okay. This one, you're going to multiply the fraction by the opposite denominator. Oh, I did that wrong. Times 4, the opposite denominator. All right, and then what do I get? 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 4 is 12. 1 times 4 is 4. 3 times 4 is 12. Do my denominators now match? Yes. Now I could solve. All right, I want you to complete the common denominator practice for your assignment today. And if you have any questions, let me know.